Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I am the host and founder of the Psychic News Network, and today is March 7th, 2022. It is Monday, and I haven't been here for a while. Usually I come in a few times a week. I let everybody know the guides gave me a hands-off order in terms of the war and what's happening there, and the reason that I was given was because things are in play. They're kind of in flux. They're almost like the trajectory hasn't quite been set, and I honestly and truly feel that we are the influencers. Our consciousnesses are the influencers of what happens. So I'm here to see if I can sway the trajectory of your thinking from fear to intention. And I'm going to do a little bit of a reading, but what I'm not going to read about is the outcome, or the, like whether Zolinskyy is going to make it, whether Putin will be ousted. I'm not going to go there. I will tell you the kinds of energy that I'm tapping into with certain people that are sort of, in the forefront of everything that's unfolding. So thank you to all of you who joined in on Saturday for our sing-along. That was important. I felt a big shift after having done that. I will do another. It's amazingly beneficial to sing. We are all vibration. We are all made of energy. You could even think about the creation of the world was the sound of Om. If you follow the Bible, the Lord spoke everything into being. Speaking is vibration. Music is vibration. And the way to lift the energetic vibration is to be as still as you possibly can, as often as you possibly can. I know we all have frantic lives. Most people have frantic lives. But, kind of the rules have changed a bit. Things, priorities are shifting. So I wanted to do a little bit of a reading, but before I do that, I want to make some points, because I know we're in shock. We're traumatized by what we're seeing. We feel completely helpless. We feel guilty that we have all that we have and that we're not experiencing directly what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, but we are experiencing it indirectly. And it's really devastating to see people going through what they're going through and to be helpless to do anything. We're not 100% helpless, because we can shift the energy vibration of the collective by praying and being still and intending a peaceful outcome eventually. So, I know you know this, I'm just reminding you. Also, if you can check out Church of Spirituality, I noticed my numbers took a nosedive. So apparently people are here for PNN, which makes sense. But I would really love it if I knew that you were, watching Church of Spirituality too. That would be great. The few things that I've noticed I want to talk about. The universe is a self-correcting system. Like a GPS, when things are going in the wrong direction, it sends a signal and redirects, just like in your car, redirects you and reroutes you, right? So the universe has sent us messages repeatedly for a long, long time now that the way that we're going in the world is not working. So as individuals contributing to the collective, and don't ever think it's little old me, little old me, little old me. What is little me? You don't know. Your energy could be the energy that just kind of makes the tipping point happen in terms of a better world. So there's so many layers to what's gone on and what's going on that it's kind of hard to unpack it all. And I think that's why we are feeling overwhelmed. But if you take some time and you self-reflect and you reflect on what's going on, you do see that, for example, we have to stop our dependence on fossil fuels. It's an international security risk. It's a risk to our human existence to be so reliant on fossil fuels. For one, they're used as, they're used as pawns. Fossil fuels are used as pawns, as playing pieces in the strategizing, like how to attack a country and, sanctions and just the whole gamut. Also, nuclear power. We had a meeting at Grassroots of Democracy on Thursday, and which we are doing every week, which is one of the reasons I came back tonight too, because I need to remind you all to join Grassroots of Democracy. Send an email to grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and write AYE in the subject line for I. That's how they vote in Congress. So after the meeting, I turn on the news, and lo and behold, the Russian soldiers were shelling a major nuclear power plant, of which there are 4 in the Ukraine, and it's bigger than Chernobyl, and we were moments away from an actual freaking meltdown of a nuclear power plant. And I felt the prayers. There was a fire. The brave Ukrainian firefighters were able to put it out, and they were being shot at by the Russian rogue soldiers that don't know what the hell they're doing. So we have to get off of our reliance on nuclear power. Also, what the heck is wrong with the sun? So this greed and this ruthless, devastating of the planet, just destroying the planet, is being brought to an even, greater awareness, greater obviousness. So I have my iPad here. I'm just looking that I had taken some notes. So this is what's happening with this war. As a side effect, is that we are noticing that we can't be so heavily dependent on fossil fuels. And then what did I hear? I saw a little clip on the news of Joe Manchin being asked a question about this. And he starts, vying for, we need fossil fuels, we need to drill, baby drill. He didn't say drill, baby drill, but you get what I'm saying. When do we wake up? When do we stand up? When do we wake up? When do we say enough is enough? So the universe will not stop sending the messages that we need to hear and to have in our faces and to feel the consequences of. The universe will not stop sending the message until we get the message. So the time of burying our collective heads in the sand is over. Bear with me. I'm going to get to doing a reading about a few things, because obviously that's why we're here normally. If you can call anything normal, that's usually why we're here, is to look at the cards. But I do want to say these things, because if you're having trouble going to sleep at night, and I know a lot of people are, because they're telling me that they're waking up at 3 a.m. and turning on my videos, which I'm flattered and everything, but I hope you can get some sleep. I was an insomniac for a lot of years of my life, and I understand how awful that is. But think about the people in Ukraine. They're not sleeping either. And Russia. And everywhere else. Anyway. And it's nice to be missed, so I guess. So thank you. But when the guides say don't do something, I can't ignore them. I know you all understand that. So the other thing is the dark money is being exposed. The dark money in Russia with the oligarchs, with big fossil fuel industries, just the, big pharma, it's being exposed slowly but surely. And we are going to see the links between Russia and the Republicans. Not all of them, obviously, but a good number of them. Let's not forget, and I'm going to look into this a little further. On July 4th, auspicious date, right? A group of Republicans flew to Russia in 2018. I'm going to get to the bottom of why they flew to Russia. The big money, the dark money connections will be made. They're already being made. when these sanctions hit the oligarchs in their pockets, in their super yachts, we will see very clearly how much they have been stealing from people, why so many people are struggling. It's greed, 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 greed. This war has brought that to the forefront. Not that we wanted this, I'm just saying, and a side effect is that. So, back to the power plants. The need to not look at nuclear power as an option has been really highlighted by that dangerous situation where it would have been 10 times Chernobyl. Whenever I think of Chernobyl, it was April 26, 1986. And I had just gotten through with my sister and a couple friends hiking the Grand Canyon. I will never forget it. Sitting on a picnic bench and I was tying my shoes. And just off the cuff, I said to one of the people, one of the guys we were with, gee, we've been down in the Grand Canyon for a whole week now. Haven't heard a speck of news. I wonder if anything has happened. And he said, as a matter of fact, a nuclear power plant exploded in Chernobyl in Russia. I was like, well, maybe we should have stayed in the Grand Canyon. Anyway, crazy. That power plant that the Russians were shelling last week, last Thursday, March 3rd, would have been 10 times Chernobyl. We can't have nuclear power. We can't. That's become abundantly clear. We can't have fossil fuels. It's an international security risk. And it's burning up the planet to keep burning up fossil fuels. We can't have nuclear power. We have alternative sources of energy. We need to start using them. The evidence, the truth couldn't be any more glaringly obvious. That's what we're looking at. I wrote down a more equal system for all is actually a possibility if this dark money is uncovered and if these oligarchs can't be oligarchs anymore. How much money does one person need in life? You don't need $500 billion to survive. It's unbelievable. Once Putin attacked Ukraine, it became abundantly clear which Republicans are connected to Russia, as I mentioned. The connections that they have had to Putin are being massively exposed. There's no place they will be able to hide. If you saw Mitch McConnell's face at the State of the Union, which was an amazing, great talk, he looked like somebody had just taken everything from him. And I've heard other people say that too. I did notice it right off the bat, like they put the camera on Mitch McConnell during the State of the Union, and Joe Biden's talking about, I forget what he's talking about, but at that moment. But Mitch looked like somebody had just stolen his firstborn child or something. I don't know if he has any children. I hope not. Anyway, I can't imagine if he was my dad. But anyway, I digress. So, Mitch McConnell, I heard somebody say that he sold Kentucky to Russia. There's a lot about to be exposed. And I'm always brought back to my sign behind me from my favorite teacher who's now on the other side, Tony Stone. We give thanks that darkness reminds us of light. We also give thanks that the darkness exposes the light and creates healing ultimately. We don't understand why we have to go through these horrible things to get to the truth. But the universe is a self-correcting system. And we have opportunities to correct things. I'm just looking big picture. I'm not specifically talking about people suffering at the moment. That's not what I'm talking about at the moment. There's no justification whatsoever to what Vladimir Putin is doing. So all these Republicans that were saying, rah, rah, Putin, Putin, are looking like, I've said for a while now, the Republicans will have egg on their face. I said that months ago, and it just keeps happening. The January 6th committee has a lot more connections that they'll be making as a result of this war. Very clear cut connections. I've been saying for a long time, for about 6 years, we've been at war with Russia for 6 years. It's just been under the radar. It's becoming very, very, very clear. Fox is being forced to backpedal their support of Putin. There's too much to point at that's right in everybody's faces in America, because we have journalism and we have media. Another thing I want to point out, I know we're getting into maybe 20 minutes now, but I made a list of things for us to think about that are going to give us a sense of like being out of the confusion and being more into, this kind of makes sense. This is my humble attempt. The Russian protesters who are being so brave, so courageous, protesting what Putin has done, should be an embarrassment to every single every single American who will not even stand up for voting rights, who is just too busy. When you look at those Russian protesters that know the truth, that are against what Putin is doing, these brave journalists and media people, these Russian media people, these independent media people who have been shut down, they will keep going. They'll figure it out. They'll figure out where to get their news from to get to the Russian people. Anyway, anybody in this country who's like, oh, well, we can't do anything about voting rights being taken away. I think the game, where the ante has been upped. I think the game is a lot bigger now. What we stand to lose is right in our faces. Fake news, being fake news, how it works, how it's generated. I've been also saying for years, as you've heard me say, we have been in psychological warfare, and it's been directed by Putin and funneled to Fox News and all these, conservative, right-wing, whatever the heck they are. They're just run-of-the-mill propaganda machines. That's what's happening in Russia. And these protesters are risking their lives, really, and beatings and jail for 15 years, or who knows what, who knows how long. Because they want the truth, and they are protesting what Putin has done to Ukraine. So, speaking of Ukraine, the Ukrainians putting their lives on the line and dying bravely and courageously for democracy puts us to shame for how much we have not fought for our rights in the face of the authoritarianism of the GOP, for example, for how much we have not appreciated our rights as a democracy, a free and fair democracy, for all its imperfections. When we see videos of these Ukrainians dying to save their country, how could any of us not do everything that we can, and I mean drop everything, in order to save our democracy? Because they certainly are. They're shedding blood for their country. Like so many hundreds of millions of maybe billions of brave soldiers that have fought for democracy throughout history. I don't know what the number is. The Ukrainians are doing that with barely any help. So, almost 20 minutes in, I just wanted to give you these points. There's more. We've never been so united. The world has never been as united as it is now. In the face of this, I keep on thinking of him as Godzilla. It's almost as if Godzilla rose from the ocean, like the old black and white Japanese movies. Godzilla rose from the ocean, and we're watching these people being devastated, and it's just, I always thought Godzilla was so scary. Should go back and look up those movies. Trump is now looking really, really, really bad. Worse than ever. As we start to remember more and more how much he threw America under the bus when he was at Helsinki and said, oh, well, Putin told me that he didn't interfere in the election. And, you know, all that, calling this a witch hunt, what he did with Zolinskyy, and, you know, trying to extort dirt about Joe Biden from him in order to give him weapons to fight the Russians. Back, he got impeached for that, let's remember. So Trump is looking really, really bad. Now, see, the thing about America is we have our information. We get free information. We get the information. So we can see what was going on. But, you know, Vindman being fired by Trump, and, you know, there's so many pieces that we can put together that are making the puzzle all very visible now. So, and also this situation with Ukraine, with Russia, with Putin invading Ukraine, has been the first time that we have seen the Democrats and the Republicans united on one front. Because there's nothing that unites people more. And I mean, we don't know how authentic it is or how long lasting it is. We haven't seen that since September 11th, 2001. So those are my points. And now I'm going to do a kind of a mini reading. It's 10 p.m. in Massachusetts. And I'm still at my office. That's not that unusual. As a total side note, I do hope that I made you feel better. Because this is where we are. We are waking up. We are being forced to wake up. So let us wake up, and let us not waste one more second not knowing that we must save our world and our country from authoritarianism, and we must help the people in Ukraine. I know the International Rescue Committee is a good place to give to help the Ukrainian people. But on a totally different note, since I haven't been on for over a week, you know, the guides are my boss. I just go with what they tell me. Since I haven't been on for a while, people have been writing to me, not tons, but people have been writing to me, and they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I really appreciate your concern. I'm not, you know, I understand if you haven't seen someone for a while, you hope they're okay. I've not given any indication at all whatsoever that I'm not okay. We are all being hit by this. So thank you for your concern. I'd rather have people thinking of me as happy and joyous and free and, you know, as much as possible, rather than worry. I always tell moms, don't worry about your children. That's like praying for something negative. And I know it's all in good intentions. I don't mean to sound like I don't appreciate that you care about me, but I'm fine. I'm totally fine. In the face of all this that's happening, we're all being pummeled. We are all being pummeled. Oh, and also, since I haven't been on for over a week, I don't have a waiting list anymore. So if you want to get a reading, it's AnnetteDionPsychic@gmail.com. You won't really have to wait. Okay, I am going to read on a couple of things. Let's take a look at what's going to happen to Mitch McConnell. We're not going to look at what's going to happen with the war. We're just going to look at certain little things. What's going to happen with Mitch McConnell? Because he's really in deep. In deep. He's in deep. If you know what I mean. Mitch McConnell. We are going to do another sing thing. Probably over the weekend. Probably the weekend. I almost did it today, but It was really, really last minute that I even came on, but I felt like, you know, as I started to think about important points, I thought, I got to share this. Anyway, Mitch McConnell. Well, there's a celebration card. This is a page of wands. Page of wands. First of all, the energy of this is like Mitch McConnell holding on to, he's trying to hold on to the money. And this is a celebration that the truth comes out about what Mitch McConnell's connections are. And temperance. He's going to be offered an exit. Not sure what that's going to look like. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's ask the pendulum. Is Mitch McConnell going to be forced out of his seat as a minority leader? It's saying yes. It's saying yes. Will that be this year? It's looking like Mitch McConnell will be unseated as minority leader, and I'm going to ask to, is it because of January 6th? It's going around in a circle. So kind of, sort of, because you know his wife was involved in busing those people in. Is Mitch McConnell going to be unseated due to health issues? No, it's not due to health issues. Is it due to his connections to Russia? Well, you know, and that's a yes. That would say that Merrick Garland is gonna get on the ball. Okay, so we'll read on Merrick Garland. Okay. I just noticed I have my Mary Trump glasses on. I see, it's the hair and the glee, you know, I get it. She's smart. I never mind that. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to go to Kevin McCarthy for some reason. So Kevin McCarthy at the State of the Union, he was nervous too because he was like looking down at his phone. I hate when they do that. It's so rude. Don't do that. It's very rude. Okay, so I don't know. I want to look at Kevin McCarthy next because he popped into my mind. Burdens, because Kevin McCarthy has been lying. And he's needed to reflect on what he has done. Not that he feels guilty, but that he is going to be in a bad situation. This is Kevin McCarthy. And he's going to try to have a suit of armor on in the form of lies. It's not going to work. Is Kevin McCarthy going to be unseated? It looks like yes. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene going to be subpoenaed? I don't know if she already has. What a disgusting couple of women at the State of the Union to heckle Joe Biden when he mentioned his son who died. That kind of stuff, that's Putin-esque. That's Putin-esque, to have no regard for human life, no regard for human emotions, no regard for respect, no regard for any of it. That's Putin-esque, and that's how they're showing themselves to be. I'm pretty sure Marjorie Taylor Greene was praising Putin at one point. Pretty sure. And how about Mike Pompeo? The day that Putin invaded, like Trump did. What's going to happen with Pompeo? Let's look at that. What's going to happen with Mike Pompeo? It's getting warm in my office. Spring's on the way. Mike Pompeo, when he sat there and he was like, I know I'm going to be receiving some, you know, people are going to be offended by this, but I think Putin is, what do you call him, a genius or an amazing leader. These people make me puke, I'm telling you. Mike Pompeo, is this his downfall? I said, is this Mike Pompeo's downfall? What do you think? Even if you don't read tarot cards, you know what that looks like. Looks like a yes. He's been associated with Putin. Him and Putin, Mike Pompeo and Putin look like they're buds. It's the world, it's what's going on in the world that's going to expose him. So what's going on in the world? So Pompeo is buddies with Putin. That's what the cards are saying. I don't know that for a fact. And what he said about Putin is he's gonna have no friends left. And that's what's happening to these Republicans that have been on Putin's side and that flew to Russia. What do they do? Have a Russian party? Some babushkas? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay. So, I know there's a lot we can talk about. My office is suddenly warm. I think that the vibes are. My winter boots on. My winter boots will probably be going into the closet soon. You know, we're in March, so spring springs on the 21st. Daylight savings is on the 13th, according to my calendar. Okay, so what we're going to do is very briefly tune into Trump. I know, it's not easy. Okay, tune into Trump. Wow, I tune into Trump and there's like nobody there. I don't mean like he's dead or anything, but I tune into Trump and I get like... So speaking of not sleeping, if you ever haven't slept for like a long time, like days and days and days, that's what Trump's energy feels like right now. I heard that he's planning a rally. Oh God, he doesn't ever stop. He's like the Energizer Bunny. I think I heard Andre, the astrologer, say that. It might have been Andre. Is Trump actually going to have a rally? I think it was supposed to be in Ohio. Is he actually going to have a rally? The pendulum is saying no. What the heck would he be having a rally about? I've been saying that for a while. No, he's not going to have a rally. And as far as him running for president, good Lord. You might as well elect Putin. Is he running for president? God, no. By the way, Lester Holt interviewed Bill Barr. There's a 1-hour program. I didn't watch the whole entire thing. I was visiting my folks and, kind of half listening. But Bill Barr says there's no racism. So, you got to take Bill Barr with a bar of soap. But, it was revealing. It was revealing. I mean, it's totally in our faces that Trump pushed the big lie and is continuing to push the big lie. And one of the side effects of Putin attacking Ukraine is that we get to see what happens. Worst case scenario of a big lie being perpetuated. I'm gonna pick 3 cards about Trump. 1, 2, 3. Wow, I keep pulling the Knight of Wands. I think that I'm pulling the Knight of Wands because they're going to try to put their armor on. All the people who the obvious connection is being made between them and Putin are going to be putting their armor on. Like they're being exposed and they don't want to, they put on their shell, like a turtle, like a hermit crab, putting on their shell. The Temperance card keeps coming up, and this is really about, this is they're in the battle, they're waiting in the wings, there's waiting in the wings. The angels are waiting in the wings to pounce and to say, no more, you guys. That's about Trump. The King of Pentacles, I actually feel like this is Merrick Garland, who we are going to read about. I sidetracked, but this is the DOJ. And in light of what's going on in Ukraine, I mean, we see in full living, horrifying color the price of somebody going rogue like Trump could, because when you watch Putin and you think about Trump, they're two peas in a pod. That's just incredible. Okay, so Merrick Garland and the DOJ, the guys just said May. Everything becomes crystal clear in May in terms of the January 6th committee and all that. Boy, it's amazing how much everything has paled in comparison to what's going on. Pray, 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 pray. Okay, so I'm asking about Merrick Garland, and this is the justice system. This is a Page of Swords, which really, it kind of tells me that I'm getting that Merrick Garland is going to delegate something. He's going to delegate something. And I'm also getting from this card that the January 6th committee and what's going on has made this job, has made Merrick Garland's job just like so, I don't want to say easy, but just so obvious. Like he has his work cut out for him. So the reason it's coming up as a page, I'm sensing, is that he doesn't have to do a lot. Like, he doesn't have to be the emperor, have to be the king, or like the King of Pentacles, or he doesn't have to be that, Merrick Garland. And this is a celebration. Justice is coming. I mean, Merrick Garland was really gung-ho about going after the January 6th, insurrectionists before he got in there, and then he started getting bullied by the Trump-Putin connection supporters. Thank God I don't live in Russia, because they'd be knocking at my door, and that's unthinkable. Anyway, you have to love democracy. But now, I mean, he was really gung-ho about going after the insurrectionists, Merrick Garland was. And now that Putin has attacked Ukraine, it's in everybody's face. Like, unless you're on another planet, you can't help but see the strong chords and connections. Can't help but see it. So yeah, with Trump, I get utter, total confusion. That's got to be, am I picking up on dementia with Trump? Am I picking up on dementia? Oh yeah, that's a strong yes. He's losing it. So I actually feel like, now that I'm looking a little bit more into what's going on with Trump, I actually feel like the magnitude of what's happening, of what Putin has done and how that's affected America, the GOP, all the right-wing, extremists, Ron DeSantis's, the Abbott. I think that Trump is just like, what? Just totally like, he just, I don't mean he has a conscience, but I just mean it's like, he can't sort it out. It's too big. It's too much for him. He can't sort it out in his head, like where he even positions himself here. A couple more things. Let's see. Just so you know, whenever I tune into Putin, I get like he's an empty shell and that something's working through him. It's like a compulsion. He says he has OCD about what he's doing. And I'm not going to tell you the outcome because there's too many things in play and it remains to be seen. Remember, what we think directs the energy. So send light and love and don't get into your fear mode, because you don't want the vibration to be lower. You want the collective energy to raise up. So we that are okay have to feel those okay vibrations so the Ukrainians and the Russians can, the innocent people can feel okay too, to the best of our ability. When I tune into okay, let me just tell you the difference between Putin's energy and Zolinsky's energy. It's like night and day, honestly. Putin Putin's energy feels like that empty shell that's just has this compulsion, kill, 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 kill. Zolinsky's energy is like, oh my gosh, Zolinsky's energy is like the Hulk. Big, strong. I'm getting like an image of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was really like totally buff, and he probably still is, but Zolinsky's energy is really strong. He's exhausted, obviously. I don't think he's sleeping at all, because how could he be? There's a whole lot of people not sleeping, so we can't be complaining about the little, oh, I didn't sleep. At least you had a bed, right? I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying, let's keep it in perspective. I'm just going to look at 2 cards just about Zolinsky's energy. He's feeling alone, and the cup is about to be filled with weapons for Ukraine. I've said enough. The other thing I just want to mention is that what's going on right now, for me anyway, it makes me take pause when I feel impatient, when I feel aggravated, when I feel like I'm not getting my way, when I feel like I'm hungry, just if I want, it makes me more patient about that, because these people don't have any food. I'm definitely in a more appreciative place. I feel like I'm a pretty appreciative person anyway. But before we complain about anything, like for instance, gas prices, I just feel like saying, don't you dare. I mean, I'm going to be, my stomach is going to turn if I hear Americans complain about inflation, about Joe Biden, and about the price of gas. If I hear any Americans complain, I'm going to have to say something. Don't complain. Think of Ukraine. Let this make us a better people now. Let this make us more determined defenders of democracy now. Not later. The time is now. The hand of the divine is at work, and it's too big for us to understand. There are a lot of sacrificial lambs. There will be more sacrificial lambs. We're in a very imperfect human civilization. It's a very existential crisis that we're in, but we will band together. I have not abandoned you. I will never abandon you. But if the guides say, don't speak, then I won't, but I'll sing. And we'll do some more singing. We'll definitely, over the weekend, we'll do that. I'll let you know. Check my community page. I love you guys. I think I've said enough. I think that's it. I won't be so long before I come back. I don't like not doing videos, just so you know, because I need to talk about it, and we all need to be talking about it. So make sure you can find a group of friends that can talk about it. Also, please join Grassroots of Democracy. That's one of the main reasons I came on tonight, because people need to be reminded. grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com. Just type AYEI in the subject line. We'll get you the Zoom invite. Will come on Thursday. And we meet Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. We are saving our democracy. And I want to see 1,000 people signed up. We should all want that, right? And if you'd like to book a reading, I have time now because people kind of disappeared. So it's netdionpsychic@gmail.com. Didn't I just say I've said enough? Okay. Namaste. See you soon. Thank you.